and they making up shit, and they walking around thinking protecting me in the last 72 hours. I know that the canopy celestially is on my side. My chart is different. You can say anything you want and play all you want. My chart say that you have to do what you're doing if that's what you're doing, because we don't care about it. Because my shit is Jupiter. Jupiter. My Jupiter is in Pisces. If you know anything about Pisces, or you know about Jupiter, and see, y'all worship Jesus, but you don't know nothing about Pisces. Everybody you know is a Pisces is Jesus. You heard? All the Pisces energy is Jesus energy. Jesus is going to always be here, regardless to whom or what. My next iteration of who I will be, according to my chart, is already charted. And you can ask my teachers. I bet you it's a wheel in time. And if you really, really understand who you is and where we are in time and space, you will understand why you even know me. But you don't understand why you know me. You lucky that you got ears and you can hear, because you wouldn't even know that you didn't know. You wouldn't even know that you didn't know. I promise you. You wouldn't even know that you didn't know. So we about to teach classes again, and I'm about to teach my peoples. I wanted to put on a flyer African American Bible translation, but then I got mad homies that's not African American that they be wanting the science too. So I didn't want to alienate them, but if you understand, that is the true title of it, because it's coming from me. So what you gain from me is from me trying to show my folks. So we're not in the way of obstacles. We are not in the way of abundance. We are opening the roads of abundance. Some people don't know that they don't know, but you cannot judge some books by the cover. Stupid. Tell your children that. Some books you better judge by the cover. Crazy. You crazy. How you think we got this far? How you think we got here? So, man, if you don't get fresh and mind your business, stay out of grown folk business, stop talking around little, stop talking around small minds. When we was little, grown people used to tell a little motherfucker, get your ass out of here. We about to really talk. The internet got everybody thinking they on the same page. And we absolutely not. Don't send me no direct messages. Don't send me no links to something you think that I think is interesting. You have no respect for me. And I see this because it don't show up in the money side. And everybody that I know that's winning have helped me actively. You can get further without even knowing me, or get further by acknowledging what you have been bequeathed. You heard? So I swear to you, this ain't no bullshit. I promise you, this word to my mother. Everybody that loved me, we have texted or spoken to one another in the last 72 hours, or the span of a decent distance. A lot of y'all is mad about people you ain't speak to in a year, 2 years. You need to get off my live. You need to get, because you ain't never did shit for me no how. You still mad at some shit that happened to you a long time ago because you don't eat the right food. Let me fix this. You don't eat the right. You haven't resolved that. It was the silence fucked you up. You was uncomfortable with the silence just now. Hold up. You know, as people make fun of you because they say you think you know everything. But I actually feel like I know everything. I feel, don't let that go over your head. I feel like I know everything. I feel that I'm not afraid of you. You was born out of love, hopefully. Even if they loved each other for 2 seconds, it was enough for you to be here. You lucky you ain't under the freeway. You lucky you ain't on that, what that shit is? That thing. What's that shit? That 50. Your ass gone. Trying to escape velocity. Is family here? Let's get some of the bullshit out before we go there. Yeah, come on with this bullshit. Yeah, man, come on.
And setting up an oligarchy which will keep the state friendly to you. In the last case, the government will know that it cannot endure without the friendship and power of the prince who created it, and so it has to exert itself to maintain his authority. A city used to freedom can be more easily ruled through its own citizens, provided you don't wish to destroy it, than in any other way. Examples are provided by the Spartans and the Romans. The Spartans ruled Athens and Thebes through the oligarchies they established there, although in the end they lost them. The Romans, in order to hold Capua, Carthage, and Numantia, destroyed them, and so never lost them. They wanted to rule Greece almost as the Spartans did, freely under its own laws, but they did not succeed. So, in order to maintain their power, they were constrained to destroy many cities in that province. Indeed, there is no surer way of keeping possession than by devastation. Whoever becomes the master of a city accustomed to freedom and does not destroy it may expect to be destroyed himself. Because when there is a rebellion, such a city justifies itself by calling on the name of liberty and its ancient institutions, never forgotten despite the passing of time and the benefits received from the new ruler. Whatever the conqueror's actions or foresight, if the inhabitants are not dispersed and scattered, they will forget neither that name nor those institutions, and at the first opportunity they will at once have recourse to them, as did Pisa, after having been kept in servitude for 100 years by the Florentines. But when cities or provinces are used to living under a prince, and his family is wiped out, since on the one hand they are used to obeying, and on the other have lost their former prince, they cannot agree on the choice of a new prince from among themselves, and they cannot live in freedom without one. So they are slower to take up arms, and a prince can win them and assure himself of them more easily. But in republics there is more life, more hatred, and a greater desire for revenge. The memory of their ancient liberty does not and cannot let them rest. In their case, the surest way is to wipe them out or to live there in person. 6. New principalities acquired by one's own arms and prowess. No one should be surprised if in discussing states where both the prince and the constitution are new, I shall give the loftiest examples. Men nearly always follow the tracks made by others and proceed in their affairs by imitation, even though they cannot entirely keep to the tracks of others or emulate the prowess of their models. So a prudent man must always follow in the footsteps of great men and imitate those who have been outstanding. If his own prowess fails to compare with theirs, at least it has an air of greatness about it. He must behave like those archers who, if they're skillful, when the target seems too distant, know the capabilities of their bow and aim a good deal higher than their objective, not in order to shoot so high, but so that by aiming high, they can reach the target. I say, therefore, that in completely new states, where the prince himself is a newcomer, the difficulty he encounters in maintaining his rule is more or less serious insofar as he is more or less able. And since the very fact that from being a private citizen he has become a prince presupposes either ability or good fortune, it would seem that one or the other of these should to some extent lessen many of the difficulties encountered. Nonetheless, the less a man has relied on fortune, the stronger he has made his position. It also helps if the prince has no other states, and so is forced to live in his new state in person. But to come to those who became princes by their own abilities and not by good fortune, I say that the most outstanding are Moses, Cyrus, Romulus, Theseus, and others like them. Although one should not reason about Moses, since he merely executed what God commanded. Yet he must be praised for the grace which made him worthy of speaking with God. But let us consider Cyrus and the others who acquired and founded kingdoms. They were all praiseworthy, and their actions and institutions, when examined, do not seem to differ from those of Moses, who had such a mighty teacher. And when we come to examine their actions...
There's a reason why I do this, to distinguish myself among the herd. Among the herd. Anyone can hear anything, but what resonates with your humanity? Consciousness is awareness on the highest level. It does not require following. It does not require, all you have to do is know and then have a capacity to want to change the circumstances surrounding your existence. I have concentrated solely on an overwhelming desire to control the circumstances surrounding my existence. And as a result, I do not require nobody following me, because I proved that I don't have to follow nothing. So that means that what I have has value. And if you don't know what value means, then you're in the wrong location. You should not have a computer Wi-Fi if you don't know value. So there are many people who don't value themselves. As a result of not valuing yourself, what you do is you get gain for what you think is below you. But what happens when somebody postures themselves as the greatest gift to humanity, which might be the amenity to help you through your time, when you think that you are the advancement of the flower, but you act like a flower. You act like you don't have the fortitude to get to where we talking about. Sometimes people don't have the force or the power to circumnavigate everything that goes against what survival entails. So what you do is you kowtow, you pull back, you slow down, and you don't concentrate on who you are and what you got to contribute. You heard? And you tripping. So then what you do is they go on the internet, not you. I'm not talking to you. Remove your ego. This, I know why some people is tuned in right now. I am a master. I have already seen where the moon is at. We on Instagram. This is about emotions. The wizards told me, the sorcerers, the wizards and the sorcerers was like, yeah, we in this moon, then the new moon, the next moon is going to be in that, and then everybody going to be like this. exaltation of the self, then the analytical this, while we still in the periods of the, what you call it, like this, boom. So I can't speak like an authority on no shit like that, because I'm still a student of it, you know what I mean? Until we need to make a show about this, about me going to learn from my big homies. That's a show. And a lot. I have done a lot in a short period of time, because I'm not no hater. I'm discerning, but I'm not a hater. I understand humans, and I understand you. And I say, look at you doing your greatness when nobody knew what was going on. So you're greater than everything that was going on when you was doing that. So I'm like this. We facilitate that. So my greatest lesson to you, right, is this. Along my course of study, let me put the light on. I got the good light. I got the good light too. Can you hear me? Cause I'm finna tell you something that the mycelium, the mycelium floor told me to tell you something about yourself. You think you got every goddamn thing? Yeah. Nah, I'm gonna tell you. Nah. Everybody think they know everything, though. Fuck that. Let's get some more lames out of here. Crazy. Get them out of here. I'm not saying that yet. Stupid.
Hey, yo, it's DJ K Slater. Talk to hot ride. These niggas is so shook.
Hold on.
And the weaver said, "Speak to us of clothes." And he answered, "Your clothes conceal much of your beauty, yet they hide not the unbeautiful. And though you seek in garments the freedom of privacy, you may find in them a harness and a chain. Would that you could meet the sun and the wind with more of your skin and less of your raiment. For the breath of life is in the sunlight, and the hand of life is in the wind. Some of you say, 'It is the north wind who has woven the clothes we wear.' And I say, aye, it was the north wind, but shame was his loom, and the softening of the sinews was his thread. And when his work was done, he laughed in the forest. Forget not that modesty is for a shield against the eye of the unclean. And when the unclean shall be no more, what were modesty but a fetter and a fouling of the mind? And forget not that the earth delights to feel your bare feet, and the winds long to play with your hair." And a merchant said, "Speak to us of buying and selling." And he answered and said, "To you the earth yields her fruit, and you shall not want, if you but know how to fill your hands. It is in exchanging the gifts of the earth that you shall find abundance and be satisfied. Yet unless the exchange be in love and kindly justice, it will but lead some to greed and others to hunger. When in the marketplace you toilers of the sea and fields and vineyards meet the weavers and the potters and the gatherers of spices, invoke then the master spirit of the earth to come into your midst and sanctify the scales in the reckoning that weights value against value. And suffer not the barren-handed to take part in your transactions who would sell their words."
Around here, the balls, them don't play. You can hear the sound of guns spray every day. I give two fucks about what a bird said. Playboy, don't.
And a weaver said, Speak to us of clothes. And he answered, Your clothes conceal much of your beauty, yet they hide not the unbeautiful. And though you seek in garments the freedom of privacy, you may find in them a harness and a chain. Would that you could meet the sun and the wind with more of your skin and less of your raiment. For the breath of life is in the sunlight, and the hand of life is in the wind. Some of you say, It is the north wind who has woven the clothes we wear. And I say, Aye, it was the north wind, but shame was his loom, and the softening of the sinews was his thread. And when his work was done, he laughed in the forest. Forget not that modesty is for a shield against the eye of the unclean. And when the unclean shall be no more, what were modesty but a fetter and a fouling of the mind? And forget not that the earth delights to feel your bare feet, and the winds long to play with your hair. And a merchant said, Speak to us of buying and selling. And he answered and said, To you the earth yields her fruit, and you shall not want, if you but know how to fill your hands. It is in exchanging the gifts of the earth that you shall find abundance and be satisfied. Yet unless the exchange be in love and kindly justice,